Good night of Shabbos. This week's Torah portion talks about making a sanctuary. And what's so big about making a sanctuary? So it says, V'osu li mikdash, shall make a sanctuary for me, v'shochanti b'socham, and I will dwell amongst them. So people can poo-poo it, make a sanctuary, and God dwells. Who sees God? The Kohen Gadol, the high priest, was able to go to the Holy of Holies once a year, only on Yom Kippur, actually twice during Yom Kippur, once to do the service, and the second time to remove the holy fire pan from the incense that was being offered in the Holy of Holies. So only the Kohen Gadol was able to sense God, and during the second temple, the place was holy, but the sensation, the awareness of God was lacking, at least the way it was in the first temple. So what does it mean, and what's the significance, and what benefit do we have? We make a sanctuary, and God dwells in that place, and nobody feels it. Good question, no? So let me give you a little bit of an insight what's going on today. It doesn't say that I will dwell in the sanctuary, but rather, and I will dwell in them. God's presence will be felt, or will exist among the people in Israel when they make a sanctuary for me, when they make a place that's a sanctuary for God. And one could argue that the sanctuary still hasn't been rebuilt. One could argue that much of what's going on in the secular world in Israel runs against the holiness of God's institutions. However, the reality is that most Israelis are enamored with the holy sites and actually come and visit the holy site. And there have been millions of Israelis, as well as Jews from the diaspora, who put on tefillin from time to time at the Western Wall and put prayers in, little notes in the cracks. Eventually they take them out, but people take them out, but everybody believes, most Israelis believe in the sanctity of the Western Wall and the Temple Mount. And the place is a holy place, a place where thousands upon thousands of Jewish people come every Shabbat to pray, and during the day, during the week, many thousands of Jews are praying there, as well as many thousands of Gentiles who come and make pilgrimages there and show their respect. So as a result of that, that's a sanctuary. We show honor and deference to that place. And therefore, God says, I will dwell amongst them. One of the most incredible phenomena that's happened in the last 40, 50 years has been the emergence of Israel as a major player in high-tech and the development of biotechnologies and medicines. And this leads me to this week's events. The entire world is frightened of the coronavirus. So are Israelis. About 400,000 people claim that they're not going to go to the polling stations next week because of fear of the virus. This week, an Israeli research team funded half by the Israeli government to the tune of $7 million approximately per year, 20 million shekels. It's about $6-7 million, maybe 30 million shekel. Comes up to about $7 million a year. Is what the government puts into this particular place. They claim they've developed a vaccine that works against the corona-like virus that's infecting chickens, poultry, and that the coronavirus that we're afraid of is very closely related to that virus. And it will take only a few weeks, or perhaps 90 days, for them to actually get the virus to be functional in a way that it can begin to be distributed. And it will be not through inoculation, but through oral dosages, which is much easier, much more palatable, much safer. And the world hasn't reacted. The stock market hasn't reacted to this news. But what does this mean? It means that a group of Israeli scientists whose budget is a fraction of what Chuck Schumer and Pelosi want to have America spend for the coronavirus, it's actually 0.1% of the suggested cost of the program of protecting this country against the coronavirus. 0.1%, 1/1000, goes into this entire company's budget for the year. They're not interested just in coronavirus. They're just doing something else. They were doing something else for agriculture. And it appears they wouldn't make the announcement if it wasn't reasonable. That within a short period of time, we'll have vaccines for this virus. Done by Israeli scientists during this period of time when we're reading Parshas Truma. What does it have to do with the research? The answer is, when it says that I will dwell among them, what do you think that means? That means that the world will benefit from God's magnificence, which will be found among the Jewish people. The world will benefit from the vaccines that Israel will develop at a fraction of the cost of what is being suggested people spend on research. Why is that happening? Why is that happening now? Why are Israelis at the cutting edge of all scientific research? It's not because they are smarter. They're smart. Israelis are very smart. Jews are very smart. That's not the reason why these things are happening. The reason why they're happening in Israel is because in Israel we are creating a sanctuary for God. And when you have a sanctuary for God, God dwells there. And since a king who dwells among people cares about the people and wants to take care of their needs, so God is caring for the people of Israel, that they don't get the coronavirus. And through that, God is providing for the rest of the world. So we're putting the rest of the world on notice. If you want that God will dwell amongst us, and we should have the blessings of God, then you will also make your world into a sanctuary. What kind of sanctuary can we make in this country if we keep the 7 commandments of Noach? One of the main commandments of Noah, the Noahide codes, is the prohibition against taking a human life. I'm not talking about killing a murderer. Murderers have to be killed. That's Jewish law. That's Noahide law. What I'm talking about is abortion. Abortion on demand past 40 days, and certainly after the first trimester, is considered a partial murder. What Warren and her group are protecting, the Democrats, the Democratic senators, were protecting not just late-term abortion. They were protecting children who were born in the process of an abortion. And they don't want that that baby should be given the protection of the law. How shocking. How disgusting. How inhumane. How ungodly. If you want to have the blessings of God, the blessings of God that are now palpable, as you see the blessings of God coming forth from Zion. Yes, Zion, that horrible word, Zionist. Zion, the place of Jerusalem. The blessing of God is coming forth from Zion and bringing cures for all people. Will we embrace these cures? Will we embrace making the world a sanctuary for God? And one of the most important elements to make the world a sanctuary is the protection of life. Not the life of the murderer. Not the protection of the illegal alien who has had many crimes, done many crimes, and attacked many people. That's not called protection of life. That is an aberration of the protection of life. The true protection of life starts with the unborn child, and certainly the child that is born. Furthermore, with the advent of socialized medicine, you have committees telling people that they cannot get medical care because they're too old. Soon I will be 75 next year. According to the guidelines of England, I would not be a candidate for getting an implant to regulate my heartbeat, because I've already lived my life. Socialized medicine does not respect life. Socialized medicine wants to control all aspects of life. And that's not a sanctuary. And so the choices are clear. We should make a sanctuary for God. And the first sanctuary has to be the protection of life. You're all worried about the coronavirus. Why are you worried? Because it may affect your lives, affect life. Protect life, and God will protect yours.